Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be making another H.O. Thomas and Friends diorama, this time being of Henry's tunnel from The Sad Story of Henry. And with that out of the way, we can just get started. Okay, so I've cut out this base here, and what I've got here is just a rectangle, and here we've got a piece of track with Henry on it, and then I have this piece which is going to be the buffer stop in front of the tunnel. So what I'm thinking is I'll just use a piece of foam to make a wall that I can build the tunnel on. So I have that here, and I'm going to cut out a hole for the tunnel. Okay, so here's that. You can see how that's going to look. And I'm just going to glue that down with some of this foam safe super glue. And then for the actual tunnel, I was going to use this lighter white foam, and I'm just going to cut out a hole and then use a pencil to mark out the brick lines. So here's the shape of it. And this will just sit right on top of here after I get it marked out. Alright, so here's that cut out. So I'm just going to mark out the brick lines on this, and then we'll have a pretty good looking tunnel entrance. Alright, here's that completed. So I'm just going to glue this in place. And then I also cut out this little piece to form the wall here, but I'm gonna glue that in place after I'm done painting everything. So I've left this all to dry, and now that it's ready, I have some other details I need to attach. First being this little ridge that goes on top of the tunnel. Okay, so there's that attached. And then I also have these little triangle pieces, which are going to go right here to represent the little support you can see there in the episode. Okay, so now that that's all done, I think it's time to paint the tunnel. Okay, so there's that done. So now I'm just gonna add a brown wash on top of that to make it look a lot better. So I also painted the red brick wall, and I'm going to give this a white wash to highlight the cracks between the bricks. Okay, so I got that done, so now I can just put this in place and we can start on the scenery. So what I'm thinking for this is I'll stack two pieces of foam and then cut the mountain shape out of them, and then I'll put the grass on and then glue it in place, and that way I won't have to attach the grass sideways. So I've cut this piece to size, so now I just need to make another one and glue them together. Okay, so I got a second piece, and I'm just going to glue these together, and then I will carve out the mountain shape out of the combined piece. Okay, I think this should be dry now. So now I just need to carve out the mountain shape and put the grass on it. Okay, so here's this finished. So now I'm just gonna put the grass on it and attach it to the main model. Okay, so now that that's dry, I'll just glue it in place. Okay, so I got that attached, and I've also printed out this backdrop, which I glued to some foam, and I'm just gonna glue this in the back, and it'll make it look like there's a mountain back there. So with that in place, we're pretty much done. I just need to put the gravel on the ground and add the smaller details. Okay, so for the details, I just have a couple things I need to add. So I have the track piece here that goes there, and then I have this custom buffer stop that I'll put there. And then I'm also going to put the rails from the track over here on the wall, like how it is in the book illustration. And then last, we just have Henry here with this custom sad face that I printed out. Just put him back here. And then the last thing I have is some black paper, which I'm going to put inside of the tunnel. Okay, and then with that, all I need to do is paint the sides black and we're all done. So there we go. There is our completed Henry's Tunnel diorama. I think this thing turned out looking really great. I had some trouble along the build process, so I'm glad to see it turned out looking as good as it did. I think this would make a pretty cool book nook if you put it in between some DVDs or some books. I think that would be pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's too big to fit on my shelf, so I won't be able to do that. But it's a cool option, I guess. If you have any ideas for future Thomas and Friends dioramas I could do, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. But with that all said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!